Because when you look in the dictionary, if you look at what the definition of a God is, it is actually a title that is bestowed upon a human being. It is not the proper title to give to that creates all things known and unknown to us. That's a totally different entity. And as a matter of fact, God essence or Godship is part of your destiny and part of your birthright. In the world of physics, there's been a tremendous amount of information that's been expressed mathematically to talk about the unlimitedness relative to the energies present in this dimension that we can absorb to transmute, to transcend, to become all kinds of things. But this energy, this light, literally, can only be assessed with proper consciousness or thought. There's something that we are very concerned about in making sure that in our community, I'm talking about my own race family, that men, and especially the women, begin to understand that there are laws that govern this dimension. And irregardless of whether we are aware of them or not, we still are accountable and will always experience their effects. So when we are living in our own world and we do not understand these greater laws that sustain everything, we really usually are living in opposition to them, and it is the stress, the resistance, and the out of alignment with these laws that govern everything that are responsible for a lot of the discomfort, a lot of the perceptions of inadequacy, etc., that we have. There's nothing that comes to this dimension that does not already have a space in time created for it and has not been endowed with a divine gift and talent that, based upon its mentality, can allow it to be the most wealthiest person in this dimension or the poorest. So when we begin to interview people in my office where they really do not understand that they're here for a specific reason with specific gifts and talents that are innate and natural, that flow through them, and that there are people waiting to give them whatever they might want for these talents. There are people waiting to supply them with the resources necessary to provide the talent, etc. And they really begin to feel that they're just out here on their own, that they have to compete, just a litany of very debilitating, how can I say, non-esteeming concepts. Immediately disease begins to enter into the vehicle of that individual. Now, let's get a clear understanding of what it is to be human. Most of us are still walking around thinking that having a physical body is what composes being a human being. That is a component of being a human. But the greatest attributes and the seed immortality for being a human comes from the mental and emotional and soul bodies. Now, people walk around talking about spirituality, etc., but when we talk about this from an energetic level, and when we look at what the spirit is, it is actually a force that an individual creates for themselves based upon a particular type of lifestyle that involves interaction between the mental and emotional body. When we begin to sit and listen to people who come to us with diseases in their physical body, the first thing we begin to note is that these individuals have no rapport at all with their emotional body. They don't know what they feel. They don't allow themselves to feel. Or what they do feel, they recognize that they force their body to do something totally contradictory to that. When we are listening to their values and their belief systems, when we ask, why do you have this value? Why do you have this belief system? It isn't anything that they necessarily are truly rooted in wanting to believe for themselves on many instances. It is because of either inherited values and belief systems or assumed values and belief systems because of the numbers of people who are saying and doing the same thing, that they just accept this as a norm. However, the bottom line is that when they recognize that what they espouse and what they believe on a mental level is totally in conflict to what they're doing on a emotional level, and then they force their body to do something totally different from the mental and emotional body, it is real. Now, how is it real? And this is finally what's coming to the forefront. There is a science known as psychoneuroimmunology, and this is something that I'm very fascinated with and have decided to dedicate the rest of my life to, because very few of us are recognizing that the etheric aspects of ourselves, our emotions, our thoughts, become physical when the brain processes them. The mind and the brain are a total separate entity. The emotional body and the brain are a total separate entity. It is a factory, the brain, that is responsible for taking high vibratory frequencies, which are thoughts and feelings, and translate them, actually transform them, I should say, into a chemical reality. That chemical reality is then released from the brain into the bloodstream, into the fluid that encompasses the spinal cord, the cerebral spinal fluid, so that every cell in your body knows what you are thinking. Every cell in your body chemically knows what to do then to create the corresponding feeling based upon the communication between the mental and emotional body.